page 55.
Every Thursday, most of the men in both our families went to one of several sleazy bars downtown. Amman's only other bars are inside the larger hotels such as the Hyatt.
In 1996, it was still under construction.
So now we're approaching the sports city where Norma Khouri claimed that somebody bought a membership in the gym.
The place we had in mind was Sports City, which was minutes from both our homes and the salon.
The official opening was in October 2003.
Norma Khouri mentioned in her book that she went to buy a tape from Music Box in Fuhais. Okay, you from Music Box?
Yeah, sure.
Do you have a branch in a town called Fuhais in Jordan?
No, we don't.
This is one of my favorites. Life in Dalia's home was basically like life in all Muslim homes.
She wasn't permitted to eat at the same table with the men in her household. She was not allowed to leave her house unless she was accompanied by one of the men in her family.
A man must authorize everything in her life, from the person she marries to her wardrobe. Did your family intervene in what you were supposed to study? Did they force you to study something?
No.
So when you move around, does your brother escort you anywhere? No.
I'm going making shopping alone. I'm going to the swimming pool alone.
There are many women who travel alone to other Arab countries to study. We don't have any male escorts with us. There's more than 24% of women in the labor force. This is the official numbers. Do all these women go with men? See, they're walking close to men without male escorts. There's a woman walking alone. Where is her male escort? We should ask her. بيت لازم يكون أخوك معك?
No.
In the book, there's something about women having to cover their hair if they're Muslims walking in the street. اسمع بدي أسألك سوري احنا مش سؤال، أنت مسلمة ولا مسيحية؟
مسلمة.
شكراً كثير. ليش مش حاطة حجاب؟
ما عارفة يعني ما أكون شوي.
بس إنه في حدا عمره بيرغمك يعني حدا من أهلك راغمينك تلبسي حجاب؟
لا.
These are poor women, you know, they're in danger. Bye.
Bye.
This is the baccalaureate school where Norma claimed in one of her interviews that she went to this school. By coincidence, today I play with the women's basketball team. We call ourselves oldies. So we have a game today in the supposed Norma Khouri school. I'm really fed up with how we are perceived in the West. You know, we're always perceived as backward, oppressed people, do not have a say. Our life is being driven by someone. It's not. I made all my choices. I made my choice to fight for women in Jordan. Nobody did this for me. Nobody in my family.
Apparently what she said is very wrong because I'm a Christian, I'm from Karak. I never covered my hair. I always put two pieces bathing suits with my tummy out. I don't care. My daughter is 17, she goes out to nightclubs, she dances, she has a boyfriend.
The book is completely irrelevant to how we live in Jordan.
This is Nabla Street, where she said they lived next to their unisex saloon shop. Apparently, this is the street where the murder took place. قد ايه صار لك فاتحها؟
يعني 10 سنين تقريبا.
10 سنين. بتعرف عمرك سامع بوحدة اسمها نورما بقاعين؟ طب عمرك سامع انه في انفتح صالون شعر مختلط بهذا الشارع؟
لا.
واحد اب قتل ابنه بهذا الشارع مش بالحي بلا. ما سمعت. شكرا كثير، الله يعطيك العافية. السلام عليكم. عمرك سمعتي بوحدة اسمها نورما أو داليا؟
لا.
نورما خوري بقاعين؟
لا.
طيب عمرك سمعتي عن وحدة انقتلت هون بهذا الشارع جريمة شرف ب 97 أو 96؟
لا.
I'm sure if there was a crime in Nabla Street, you would know about it.
يعني usually we follow the crimes which happens in the country.
Exactly.
Not just in our street.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So did you hear of a woman named Dalia being killed in your street?
No, never.
No. Did any woman in the name of Norma or Dalia come to the Jordanian Women's Union since you offer legal aid and all kinds of aid to abused victims, and you have always been involved in the honor crimes issue?
Right.
Did they ever come to you seeking help?
No, never. Never.
So I wanted to ask you if you've ever received any donations. You see here, the author is donating a portion of the proceeds to international women's NGOs.
No, never.
This is Norma, and this is Dalia. Have you ever seen these two women before?
No.
No.
No, never.
Dalia couldn't show a little hair. The woman in this picture shows some hair here, and if it is such a strict family, even this little bit of hair should not be showing. And I really don't know who the lady is.
She said that Dalia's body was transferred to the morgue at a hospital near her house.
The taxi came to an abrupt stop in the circular drive in front of Palestine Hospital, and I bolted out of the car.
The person who wrote the book obviously has some knowledge of the hospital, But then she goes on to say, when we got into the elevator to go to the basement of the old hospital, we pass by our elevator, it goes up. We don't have a basement. She goes on to say,
I followed the nurse down a long, dimly lit hallway into a large back room.
very melodramatic, we don't have any dimly lit hallways. We continue down here to our cold room.
The morgue had 4 stainless steel tables. On 3, bodies were draped with white sheets.
It is physically not possible to have 4 beds in this room, as you can see.
She says Dalia's father waited for her until she died, and then he contacted the ambulance. The ambulance is not allowed by law to move a dead person. The minute they discover it's a murder, they immediately contact the police. The police comes, cordons off the area, and they start an investigation.
Mahmoud had been found guilty of a misdemeanor and sentenced to 3 months in jail, but immediately released because of the time he'd served out on bail.
Alleged perpetrators of any murder are never released on bail.
There would be no more punishment for her killer than the inconvenience of 2 or 3 hours before the Shari courts.
Honor crimes are tried in criminal courts, not Sharia courts. Honor crimes are not accepted by Islam.
What was even worse, the information on Islam was taken from a non-Arab website.
Her last sentence in the book, Dalia's death never reached the newspapers. Okay? She knows about me. Why didn't she come and tell me? I would have reported it.
Dalia could have been any of the women who've been killed in Jordan. Nobody says they are not being killed. Nobody denied that fact. We know it, and we work hard to put a stop to it. But I doubt that the story, the way it is, really happened.
I don't think that Dalia existed. The whole story was fabricated.
What's going on?
If everything was a lie in the book, what can we believe of Norma? What can we believe? How can we believe anything?
The people from Jordan, their aim was to have this book reclassified from non-fiction to fiction. So they sent this dossier to Simon & Schuster and to Random House and said, with all of these mistakes in the book, could you please call it a novel?
A month later, I received a response from Random House Australia saying that they checked everything with Norma and they stand by her story.
I really don't care where your Jordan River flows. That's not what I was writing about, okay? I didn't write this as a tourist handbook. I didn't write this so that they can find the Jordan River and go, you know, jump in. That's not what I wrote this for. She couldn't have been handed a 50-dinar note. What has that got to do with the main issue? Oh, well, we'll freely admit that there are honor killings in our country, but it's not a phenomenon. It's something that's very rare. No, it's not rare. It is a phenomenon, and it is on the rise, and one woman killed where a government is justifying that murder of an innocent woman is one woman too many. How many do you need dead?
It was fishy, and I was infuriated. So I started my nightly searches on the internet until finally I found her full family name.
Her full family name was Norma Khouri Majid al-Bakin Toliopoulos. She'd been born in Jordan in 1970. She'd come to America when she was about 3.
It was obvious that in 1996 she was not in Jordan. She came to Jordan in 2000.
I was the journalist who broke the story about Norma not being who she said she was. These were the phone book records of Norma Toliopoulos in the United States. That was my guide to finding her. All I had was this photo of Norma to show around and this list of past addresses dating between 1989 and 99. They led me to South Long Street, Chicago. I knocked at a couple of doors, nothing much happened, and then there was a woman sitting on a stoop, and I thought, she looks like she's been here for a while, I'll ask her. And I went up and showed Norma's photo, and she said, that's Norma. She used to live down there. And I went and knocked at the door, and a man answered and said, well, that's Norma, my sister. She disappeared about 4 years ago. He said, the main thing that we're worried about is not Norma, but her kids. And I said, what? And he said, yeah, you know, there's Zoe and Chris, 10, 12 years old. And I was thinking, Christ, you know, she's been presenting herself as this refugee